Now we will discuss the lateralization in normal brain. The human brain is divided into two hemispheres, left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. Lateralization of brain functions means that there are certain mental processes that are mainly specialized to one side or the other. Lateralization literally means that certain functions, either in part or in total, are located in one side of the brain. So the functions that are there in the left side of the brain, they are about the ability to judge positions of object in space, things we do or see, motor control of the right side of the body, as well as understanding body positions or from information creating a drawing picture. Now, functions in the left hemisphere basically deals with the understanding and use of language, which is written, reading, writing, listening and speaking, sensory and memory information, and also the motor control of the right side of the body. So basically lateralization deals with these characteristics and this particular information which is there with regard to left hemisphere and the right hemisphere of the body. So now we will look at the process of the lateralization and how by looking at the left side or the right side of the brain, how different specific functions are performed, and in terms of the patients who are suffering from certain type of aphasia, what is the role of lateralization. So first and foremost thing, in order to understand in the lateralization of the normal brain, is the visual field task and decortic listening task. Now it is important in the research in terms of that, looking at the normal brains, because we have already discussed that the aphasic patients or the aphasics, in their cases, there are a lot of discrepancies and lot of malfunctioning with regard to the left as well as the right hemispheres. The visual field task, which is used with split brain patients, and then you have decortic listening, which involves the simultaneous presentation of different stimuli to the two ears. Initially developed by Broadbent to this study attention, the technique was first used by Kimura. In 1961. It was used to examine ear and hemisphere difference. Now, Kimura found that recall of verbally presented material such as digits was superior in the right ear, and that recognition of non-verbal stimuli such as melodies was better in the left ear. The anatomical details of the auditory system are similar to but somewhat more complex than those of visual systems. Specifically, input from the area such as right ear not only projects to the left hemisphere, which is the contralateral pathway, but also to the right hemisphere. And right hemisphere is basically ipsilateral. To account for decortic listening results, Kimura proposes that the contralateral pathways are stronger than ipsilateral connections, and that under the competing conditions of decortic presentations, the former block the latter. The contra one basically blocks the later one. Decortic studies of split brain patients indicate highly exaggerated right ear advantages for speech stimuli. That is, normal performance by the right ear with chance performance by the left ear. The failure to the left ear is due to two factors. First, the contralateral pathway is not helpful because the corpus callosum is not present. Second, the ipsilateral pathway is blocked or suppressed by the contralateral pathways. Thus, the left ear does poorly on this task. Kimura's model of performance under dichotic listening conditions with speech and non-speech stimuli appears to fit both normal and split brain data. The distinction between linguistic and non-linguistic stimuli is unsatisfactory as a basis for predicting which hemisphere will control processing. One reason is that these terms are vague and imprecise. It is basically unclear that what features of linguistic or non-linguistic stimuli are important in influencing hemispheric control. Conversely, sometimes right ear advantage fails to occur with speech stimuli or dichotic task. The most prominent case is the failure to find right ear advantages for vowels, although results from consonants have been found consistently as per the study conducted by Kennedy et al. It has been suggested that this difference is due to the greater length of vowels than consonants, because it is known that the degree of ipsilateral suppression is greater for shorter sounds than for longer ones. With regard to left hemisphere and their preference, this is the study conducted by Beaver in 1980. He has argued that left hemisphere prefers to process information in relational manner, whereas the right hemisphere uses a holistic model of processing. To conclude, most mental functions are distributed across the hemispheres, but there are specific processes that are specialized to one hemisphere.